Hello and welcome. My name is Miranda. Some of you might know me as Tuck. Tuck is my Inupiaq name, but some of you might know me as Miranda. I am Inupiaq Eskimo, and I just wanted to go over a few Native American healing traditions that I try to practice daily, especially during these times when we're all in quarantine and social distancing. So I just wanted to briefly go over some of the daily practices that I try to include every day. So I'll just run through them. I'm using Native American Healing Traditions, a paper that I found that broke down the daily practices really well. It's by Terrell A.A. Portmana and Michael T. Garrett, and it's from the University of Iowa. So, a few things. I try to start my morning off with gratitude for sure, and I do that by just giving thanks for being able to wake up that morning and having another day ahead of me. I give thanks by looking outside, appreciating the sunshine or the rain or the trees, anything. I start my day off with gratitude by just appreciating the day and what is around me and what I have. One other thing that I try to keep in mind too is that all things are connected. So I'm connected to everything around me, my environment, nature, people, animals, all those things. We're all a part of this world, and I try to remember that. I try to remember that all things have a purpose and everything has its place. So I try to be very intentional with where I place things, how I put them away. I just kind of slow down a little bit so that I can just take my day as it goes. I try my best to honor others by treating them with kindness and consideration. I always assume that a guest is tired, cold, hungry, and I try to make sure to provide them with the best of what I have to offer. I try to practice living an egalitarian lifestyle in a sense that everything is equal to you and holds a spirit as I do and as any animal does, or the trees. Like, they all have a spirit, and that's how we are all connected, and that is how in my world, just how I live. I try to keep in mind that if I have more than what I need for myself or my family, I try to help others as I can and as I'm able to. So giving is another one. So gratitude, giving, and just remembering that all things have a purpose and we're all connected and we all have spirits and we're all equals. I try to seek harmony and balance in all things. I try not to do too much of one thing or too little of another, but I try my best, and it's not perfect, but I try my best to create balance and harmony in all ways, in all relationships, in all my daily practices. I try to remind myself that even though we're all connected and we can all impact each other in some way, that again, we're all equal and we can all make a similar impact. So I try to be intentional with how I interact with people, how I go about my day, how I speak to myself, what I'm listening to, what I'm reading. So yeah, I try to seek balance and harmony, and those are the ways that I try to do it every day. And this is also something that my grandparents taught me when I was very young, and I think I learned that just from watching them and just from being around them. They're very calm, peaceful, beautiful people. And I try to practice silence and patience in all things, especially in times where your patience is tested. I try to find my inner calm by taking deep breaths, slowing down. Once I realize that I'm tired or anxious or stressed out, I just try to slow down a little bit and just reach my own inner calm by practicing silence and patience with myself too. I try to practice modesty in all ways, so I try to just exist in a way that isn't going to impose on someone else. So again, with the harmony and the balance, it's another way that we try to keep things connected and balanced and equal as best as we can. I try to stay mindful on knowing what things are contributing to my well-being and the things that are leading me to any sort of distraction. So again, I try to put as much energy as I can into things I know mean a lot to me, and that might be work, it might be school, it might be just my daily practices with gratitude, yoga, meditation. I try to just be mindful of what I'm contributing to my well-being and how I'm doing that. I try to ask permission for a lot of things, especially for friends or family. Giving something for everything that is received, including just, again, practicing gratitude, saying thank you, and honoring all living things, and just practicing gratefulness, especially if it's someone or something that goes out of your way to help you. I try my best to show that I'm grateful. I practice being aware of what's around me, what's inside of me, and I try my best to show respect for people around me, myself, and how I'm feeling. I try to treat everyone equally, including elders, older adults, and even children, because I know they're also a soul. Regardless of what they've experienced, they're also a human. So I try to treat everyone with respect. I try to greet people as much as I can, especially even if it's just a stranger that I'm walking past in the morning, just to acknowledge that they're there. I see you. I try not to criticize people or talk about negative things just because I don't want my day to be consumed by that. If anything, I want to give more gratefulness and maybe constructive criticism, but yeah. I try not to interrupt others because, again, I want them to have as much space as I do, and I want to give them the same patience that I give myself when it comes to speaking or thinking. And yeah, I want them to use their voice, and I want them to know that they're heard, so I try my best to never interrupt them. I try to treat everything like they're sacred, people included, animals, food, everything, coffee. I try to just look at things as a gift every day, and yeah, I try to look at everything as being connected and everything being fluid, and I think that really helps starting my day, especially in quarantine, on a good note, is by practicing these little tools in my head on how to interact with people, how to interact with myself, how to keep calm and just be grounded and connected to my environment and the people that are around me. I try to listen with my heart, and I mean that by I try not to impose my own judgments on someone else's story or what they're talking about. I just want to hear what they're saying and see it from their perspective versus just giving my opinion or what I think they are talking about. I try my best to step in their shoes and practice empathy to see where they're coming from, what they experience, what it looks like to them, what it feels like to them, and that's what it means to me to listen with my heart. I try my best to learn from my experiences, good or bad, and I'm always open to new ones because I know in each experience there's always a lesson. It can be difficult to find it, but it's always there. I always try to remember that smiling is also something sacred and beneficial to yourself and those around you, so I try my best to not smile all the time, but when I see someone or when I greet someone, I try to just greet them with warmth and with kindness, and I think that makes a big difference because you never know how much that could mean to someone because you don't know what kind of day they're having. So I also try to live each day as it comes, and that's just taking it day by day, step by step, hour by hour sometimes, and yeah, I think practicing these things daily, they really help with that. And yeah, these are some older ways, I would say, of thinking and living, but this is just something that I grew up with, so it's just kind of how I usually plan out my days and interact with others. But Indigenous people, our way of life, it's really centered around honor, humility, and respect, and just teaching the younger generations those things at a very early age so that they can practice them. And yeah, these really are our principles of life: is honor, humility, respect, and that's to ourselves, to the people around us, to our environment, to nature, to animals, all of the things. We're all connected. And yeah, I do think practicing this, it does help, kind of, at least for myself, it helps me stay grounded and aware of myself and those around me, and it just makes my day a little bit more special, a little bit brighter. So I hope this was helpful to you. I hope these daily practices can, benefit you in some way. And yeah, thank you for watching.